All right, guys, we have a bit of a different video tonight. So, one of my key goals heading into 2026 is to actually gain some size, put on some muscle. And as part of that, something that I decided to do was to build myself a macro tracker using Notion. So, I decided that, hey, this would be a good video idea. Maybe it sucks, maybe someone finds it interesting, but we're gonna go ahead and walk through it. So again, why did I did this? So of course, I've been working out for a while, but I want to gain size, gain some weight, but I've never bothered to track my macros. And of course, there's only so many variables you can change before it just comes down to tracking your calories. So I decided instead of, because I like doing these things, instead of paying for an app, I just made my own. So how does this work? So first is the fundamentals. So what I did was I had to set up databases for the food essentially. So this is typically when it comes to Notion, what I like to do is I'll just set up like one page where I have all my databases for the different systems. I have the same for other team spaces. Maybe I'll show that one here a bit. But in this case, so what I did was I added a database for the food that I consume. Very simple, right? Basically taking the nutrition facts labels of the foods that I eat and then adding them, dumping them here. Thankfully, I pretty much eat the same thing or the same meals day in and day out, so it wasn't that complicated. Over time, I've just added to this, but essentially it wasn't that hard to set up. Then from that, what I've done is I added two extra databases. So one is where I'm actually going to be tracking my meals. And what I decided to do for this one was basically set up one entry for each food item that I consume. And it's all gonna make sense when I go to my dashboard. And then lastly, just have like a log entry which aggregates all of my meals. So think of it as a log is a day, and during the day you eat multiple meals. So a log is made up of meals, and meals are made up of food. That's pretty much it. And then this is where I track everything. So there's a bunch of formulas that I'm not gonna go into right now, but essentially it's just calculating the proteins, carbs, and fats. And then there's a lot of logic set up to calculate the total based on the portion size that I entered and to display it in the dashboard, yada yada. So here I've set up some callouts at the top just to show like my targets for the target weight that I want to hit. Just have like a calorie target, protein target, carbs, fats, etc. And then how does the dashboard actually work? So I have a few buttons here set up, just configured to basically add the entries based on whatever meal I'm gonna eat or ate. So in this case, let's say that I just had breakfast and I want to add, let's say I had some eggs and bread. So I can type here eggs. This is a relation to the food database that I have already set up. Then here is where I would enter the portion size, let's say 200 grams. And let's say that I ate, let's say that I ate a banana. So let's do banana, and let's say 120 grams. So you'll see here that the date is gonna fill in automatically because it's today's date. It's past midnight, but for sake of an example, I have a relation here, like I said, to my food item, and then I'll enter the portion size that I actually ate. So if it was for lunch, I could do the same thing. Let's say I ate some rice, and then that I ate some churrasco. So we go, let's say 180 grams, and let's say 200 grams as an example. So there's different sections. I like breaking it up into I broke it up into different sections. So I have one that will give me, instead of the daily entry, it'll show me every single meal entry for the previous week. So this is what is actually stored. This is my real data. And you'll see here, it's grouped by date. I'll see just all this information. I can clean this up, but I just like having everything. Then I'll be able to see the relations as well. Here is where I'll actually see all of the calculations. You'll see here, let's take today's example. I entered eggs, portion size of 200 grams, and then here I can see the equivalent of calories, the equivalent macros for that. So I'll see the equivalent calories, equivalent protein, equivalent carbs, and equivalent fats, all in grams, of course. So no matter if I change this, let's say to 300, there's a formula that will dynamically just update the appropriate calculation. So that keeps it very simple. So let's see what else. And then here, there's an automation. I have a few automations here set up. One to add the entries, and I'm doing this demo video, but normally this will be populated automatically where it will link the meals to the entry for the day. That's done using this automation right here, where it just links to the entry that matches the date. That's how I set it up. Try not to go into too many technical details because I don't know if this is actually a video that people are interested in. But yeah, let's see what else. So yeah, that's by day. Then what I've also did is, because I like to get fancy with Notion charts, and I created progression dashboards for each macro. Sometimes it takes a while to load. But then I can see, let's say for the past month, I can see day by day how many grams of protein I consumed in this case. And then I can see like my trends, averages, etc. Before I started tracking my macros, or when I started tracking my macros, I should say, I realized that I was under eating pretty much, which explained why it was so hard for me to gain weight. And that's the thing, right? You think you're eating a lot and that you're actually working out hard, and you're like, oh, I'm eating. Why aren't I gaining weight? You're probably not eating as much as you think if you're trying to gain weight, right? I know some people want to lose weight, but in my case, that's never been an issue. Gaining weight has been an issue for me. So carbs, progression, same thing. So over the past month, like the daily intake for grams of carb, same thing. Same for fats, you already know the drill at this point. And then I have the same thing for calories. And then finally, at the bottom, I set up so I took my log entries and then I just displayed them as card views. And I used to filter just longer dates, meaning like over 7 days, over 10 days, but then it just spreads the table, makes the table way too long. I didn't like how that looked. And then I just made some fancy formulas to actually display the totals, which would be the sum of every single macro for that day. So let's see. Let's say that yesterday was 17th. So yesterday I consumed 2,100 calories, 145 grams of protein, 168, let's round up, grams of carbs, and 98 grams of fats, and so on. You can look at the calculations at the dates. I have a little call out here for golden rules. Yes, why not? And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I built this for myself. Because I had tried. I could have gotten my Fitness Pal or some of these other apps, but I wanted to build one that was custom made to me. I use it on my phone as well. I just track it like I already have my portion sizes, meals, and everything pretty much memorized at this point. So it's fairly simple to just log everything in. But yeah, I wanted to make this video, different type of video, just to see what the reaction is, see if it's something that people are interested in. Other systems, I have other systems as well, but I thought this would be a good idea just to run with it, right? Because I've made videos before about like my training center, let's say, or what I used to track my workouts, as well as just like my goals, rewards, etc. So, and if you're interested in the actual technical details of things like this, then let me know as well, because I can actually take my time, prepare, and go through how to build systems in general, or a system like this, for example. So, but yeah, that's the video for today. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Or if you're curious and want to know more, let me know, and I'll be sure to follow up with more videos. Thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I'll catch you on the next one.